Good morning. Thank you for joining us today at the JobNimbus 101 workshop on financials. We appreciate all of you being here. My name is Tristan.
My name is Daniel.
My name is Logan, and it's a pleasure to have you all here today.
Yeah, we're super excited to be here today talking about the financial documents in your account. Financials are really awesome because they help you stay organized by keeping all of your documents in the same place. You can save time by using the same template over and over again. You can look professional with the use of our design templates, and you can even track a lot of really neat things that are helpful for your company, such as costs, margins, payments, and credits. We're going to be working in JobNimbus today, the JobNimbus website app, and we're going to be going through the financial documents. If you have any questions that come up while we're going through this, feel free to type them in chat or the Q&A section in Zoom, and Tristan will be going over that. We'll be taking questions at the end, and so we'll be answering your questions at the end, and at that time, we'll also have, if we have time, we'll be able to unmute you if you have a question, and we'll be able to talk over things, which will be really awesome. So without further ado, we're going to be moving into the JobNimbus app. So before you get your financials all set up, the first thing you'll need to do is add products and services to your account. These products and services are added in your settings. So to get to your settings, you need to click on your name in the top right corner and select settings from the drop-down menu. This will take you to the general page in your settings. To get to your products and services, you'll need to select products and services from the left side navigation bar. So let's go there. As you see, there are not a lot of products or services in this account. So we're going to need to add a few. I've seen accounts with hundreds of products, but this one only has 6. So let's actually add a product here. So we're going to add a new product of tar shingles. If we want to, we can add a description for this product. We can change the unit of measurement. This one, we don't want items, we'll want square foot. If you need to add in a new unit of measurement, that's fine. All you need to do is type in this little text field here, press enter, and that unit of measurement will be added to your account for future use. Next thing we'll want to do with this product is add in a cost. Now this cost is the cost to your company. How much this product costs your company. This product is going to cost us $3.27 per square foot. We'll want to add in a price. This is the price that we're selling this product at. We're going to sell this product at $4.95. If you're using tax at all in your account, you can add a tax. If you have QuickBooks enabled, you can use taxes in QuickBooks. We're not going to go over tax today. So we're going to keep that at none, and we can add in this product right here. As you see, this product has been added to our list. If we have a lot of products, you might see that it could get really hard to find products in your account. So we can use the search bar up here to search for our products. Also, a really cool tidbit of information, all of your products will be listed in alphabetical order. So that might help you find all of some products if you have a lot of products in your account. So now that we have products added to the account that we're going to be using in our company, next thing we'll need to do is add in some design templates.
Absolutely. So templates dictate how your financials look to both internal and external sources. You'll see that we already have some built out here. And credit memos, estimate templates, invoice templates, these are all financial templates. Let's go ahead and build a new estimate template today. The first thing we'll do is we'll choose a design between these two, and each one will have separate options. I like this one with the black bar at the top. Once we get in, we'll have to give it a name. We're going to give this a very unoriginal name. And then we can give it a title. The title is what shows up here in this black bar. So I might call it, instead of an estimate, a proposal. I can also choose what the customer notes section is called. Now, the customer notes section is down here at the bottom, and currently it says special instructions. You'll notice that estimates changed to proposal. Let's change it from special instructions to magical instructions. I don't recommend that you do this on anything professional. Now, below that, you'll notice a series of checkboxes. These tell you what information is shared internally and what is shared with the customer. So for instance, we're not really working with taxes, so I'm going to turn this off. And this will disappear from this box at the bottom. If that's on, then you'll see it right here. So we're going to turn off the tax column, and we don't really need them to see our description column either. You'll notice that this is here. We're going to make this look a little bit cleaner. So let's turn off the description column. Now we have a much cleaner look for our template. The next thing that you'll notice is all these gray boxes. These are places that you can edit information now that you won't be able to edit once you're actually building the estimate, only while you're in the template. So let's add something to our sales rep info. I would actually like to include, in addition to all my sales rep information, my general company line. So I'm going to say this is company phone. And let's insert a template field for the company phone. Now, if I ever change my company phone number, this will automatically change as well. So let's save the changes. And you'll notice that company phone is included right down here at the bottom. Something I see a lot of customers do is add some verbiage, disclaimers, and such to this left of totals box. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. So I'm going to add verbiage and such. You'll probably want to make this a little bit more specific. Once I've got this all set up and I'm happy with the way it looks, I'm going to save the template. Now, anytime I add something new in JobNimbus or change a setting, it's generally a good idea to refresh the page. So let's do that now. And once that's done, let's get into actually building an estimate.
Awesome. So today we're going to be working in Richard Gallivant's file. So let's pull up Richard Gallivant. So Richard Gallivant is a new job that we're going to be doing a new job for Richard Gallivant. So he's a new contact. We can go to financials here and we see that he has nothing in his financials. Let's actually change that. This is where you can add in all of your financial documents. As you see, we have estimates, invoices, credit memos, and payments. We're going to be going over each of these today. To add in a new estimate, we want to make sure that we're in the financials tab, and then we can click on this add estimate button. This will bring up the estimate builder. As you see, we can choose a design template. Let's choose that new template that Logan just built, the webinar template. Here we can add in an estimate date. We can add in a date for the 20th. Oops, not 120th, but the 20th. So that is next Friday. If we want, we can add in item names, a line item in the item name. So we can type in anything that's in our products and services. When we click on it, it will populate the description, the unit of measurement, all the way into the price and tax. It'll just add it to our estimate builder. If we run out of items here, we can add in more line items to add in more products. If we want to organize our line items, we can add in sections to organize our items better. And this is right here, this customer note box. This is where we add in those magical instructions or special instructions for our customer. We can also add in internal notes that will only be seen by our team in JobNimbus. Once we have our estimate built out, we can, if we're going to be using this estimate a lot, we can save it as a template. and that will save it as a saved estimate up here. Today, we're going to actually use a saved estimate that we've built before, and this is roof. So let's use that. As you see, using that saved estimate populated all of the line items. We have our sections right here for roof and finishing. If we want, we can change this from show line items to hide them, to hide the line item amounts, or even hide the line items. So it only shows the section and the total of all line items with it. We're going to keep that as is. But actually, Richard didn't want Suntop corrugated tiles. He wanted tar shingles. So let's add in our tar shingles here. And since this is by square foot, his roof, we're going to say, is 730 square feet. So there we go. That has been updated. And our estimate looks good. We've added and updated all of our line items. So now, let's actually add in a customer note here. And we're going to just put something magical. And in our internal note, we're going to say, team members, look here, for just for some internal notes. That way, they can see what internal notes they are. We suggest you put actual instructions there. So once we have everything ready, let's save the estimate. This will take us to our estimate viewer where we can finish looking over to make sure everything is ready.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dan, for that explainer. So when you get here, you'll notice something right away, and that is the big proposal area. This is a physical representation of exactly what the PDF will look like that you can print out or share to your customer. You'll notice how the different sections work. And at the bottom, you'll notice that those instructions, in this case, just magical, were kept. If we look further down, we'll see the things that are only shown internally. So if we chose to have a description here, these would be shown. Remember that we deleted that from what the customer could see. Same thing goes with tax and other things like that. You'll also notice at the top, we have some more information. On the left is the estimate information, which is all fairly basic, the number, the cost, the subtotal, and all of these are available to use in your reporting so that you can get this information in places it matters. In the right-hand column, you'll get a little bit more information, the estimate date that we chose, who the contact is, its status and its signature status. Currently, signature status is something we will be including more in future builds. Doesn't do much right now. We can see the customer note and that internal note, reminding us to look here. Archived is just decided by whether or not Richard is archived. And then we can say what team member created the estimate and on what day and time. If we go to the far right and click on the three dots, we'll get our action menu. Some of these are pretty basic, like a PDF view. We'll pull up just the PDF exactly as we would have it. We can also download that PDF. We can go in and edit it, email it, and these are a little bit more important. So we can change the status. If we've sent it to a customer, we can send it to sent. If they said, no, I don't want it, I can set it to denied. Or if they're good with it, we can move it to approved. And later, if we create an invoice off of it, it'll go to invoiced. In either of these two statuses, it will show up on all our internal reporting so that we know that, yeah, this is money we're going to make. The other thing we can do, and something we're going to do right now, is to convert it. So instead of remaking an invoice based off this information, I can just say, I'm going to convert this to an invoice. Building an invoice is a lot like building an estimate. We can choose a design template. We'll leave it on the only one we have. We could use a saved invoice. In this case, we already have all the information here. We can say, oh yeah, this is the day of the invoice. This is when the invoice will be due. Currently, this is set to net 15, so it'll be due 15 days afterwards. But I can change this in different ways. I can even split it. Say, you know what? I want on today, 50% due. And then at the end of the month, when I finish the work, I want the other 50. Now I could split this a lot of ways. I could even add more columns. If there was anything I wanted to change, I could do so here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the second section. And I can, of course, change the notes and such. I have the option to save this as a template like I could an estimate, but we're just going to save the invoice itself. Now, this is going to look fairly similar to what we saw in the estimate, although you'll notice that the balance due is shown differently because we chose to set this as a split invoice. And if we go down a little bit further, we can see the invoice payment history. The last thing you'll see on the bottom is an activity history. This is really useful if you want to see what's been going on with the invoice. So I can see that it was created and it was built from that specific estimate. If I chose to edit it, then it would also show me in the activity feed, oh yeah, this is when it was edited, this is who did it, and I can see even a little bit of what was changed. I can also add an internal note that will only show up here in the activity feed for the invoice. Not something you'll use too often, but if you have a contentious invoice, this is a good place to share some information. So now we've gone over a little bit about how to make an invoice. And another way that you could get to that is we could add an invoice from here, but that wouldn't allow us to convert from the estimate. Now that we've built the estimate and the invoice, it's time to pay the bills. So let's look at the ways we can do that in JobNimbus.
Yes, so there are a couple ways that you can add payments to an invoice, and one of them is through credit memos. So let's go over credit memos. Credit memos is found here in this panel, and you can add a credit memo by clicking on the button, Add Credit Memo. As you see that this is pretty much the same as the other financial documents. You have your design template, your saved credit memos. If you've saved any, you can change the credit memo date. We can even add in line items. If you run out, you can add in more line items, sections, notes. So today's credit memo, we finished the job and we did not use all of the paint that we projected that we might use. So we don't want Richard to pay for the paint that we didn't use. So we're going to actually add in a credit memo for paint. As you see, I use the product and it populated along the line item. So now we could add more to this, but this is all we need. So we're going to save the credit memo. And this will take us to the credit memo viewer. We can look over the credit memo to make sure that everything is good to go. And we can even apply this credit. We can apply it in a few different ways. We can click up here in the three dots to pull up the action menu and use the credit, or we can come down here to the bottom where it says payments and we can click on use credit. This will pull up the edit payment window where we can click on a specific invoice. If you have multiple invoices on a contact, it will pull up all of the active invoices for that contact. You can just choose the invoice you want to add it to and then save payment. This credit will then be applied to that invoice, and we can even take a look at it in the Financials tab. If we come down to invoices, we see that $105 was paid on this invoice, but we know that it is the credit memo. If we look in the invoices activity feed, like Logan was showing, you'll see that there is a note added in there for that a credit memo was applied to that invoice. So this isn't the only way that you can add payments to an invoice.
Generally, I'm hoping that not all of your payments will be done through credits. Usually you get some actual money, and that can be done by adding a payment. Now, this is a fairly simple setup. You have a reference number, which is just for your reference. So if you get a check or something similar, you can put that in there. We have no such thing in this case. So that's our reference number. We can choose the payment amount. It automatically went to the 4,400 number because that's our only open invoice. If they only paid half of it, then I could change that here. But let's go ahead and let them pay out their entire payment now. You can say the date, the method by which it was paid. This was paid in cash, which is a little suspicious when someone gives you $4,000 in cash. And we can choose right here, yep, I'm going to apply it to this invoice. But for the sake of teaching, let's not automatically apply it, and let's save the payment. So you'll see that now appears in the payment section with the reference number, the total, and so on. And we'll see that it hasn't been applied here yet. If we want to apply it, we'll click the three dots to the right of the invoice. We'll choose Add Payment. It's then going to say, hey, do you want to use this payment that's already on the account, or do you want to add a new one? Let's use that payment. It'll bring us back to the Edit Payment window. We can click this button, which will then apply it. If we want to apply less, we can. And we save it. Now you'll notice that as we've done this, a few things have happened. Because we turned the estimate into an invoice, its status was changed to invoiced. Because we paid off the invoice, its status was changed to closed. So now we've gone through everything that you have as far as building an invoice, from creating the estimate and the proposal, getting it approved by the customer, creating the invoice for them to pay on, getting some credit, and then actually paying it off.
But wait, there's more. There are a few other financial documents that we'll quickly go over right now, and those are budgets and material orders. Now, those are extra features in JobNimbus. The way that you enable extra features is you'll want to go to your settings. So let's go there and then click on features in the left side navigation menu. This is where you'll find all of the extra features that JobNimbus offers. So here we can enable budgets. So let's enable it. And as Logan said earlier, we should refresh the page. So now that we've enabled budgets, you'll see that there is a new option here in the menu, and that is budget. This is where you can update your budget template. We can add in a specific gross and net margin that we want to make sure we hit. And if we don't hit it, JobNimbus will give you a notification saying, hey, your margin isn't high enough. You need to adjust some things in your job so you're making enough money. We can add in a specific budget line item. Here we can add in something, a specific that will show up on every single budget. And this has to come from your products and services. We can give it a specific amount, or we can have it as a percentage of the total cost for the job. We can add in a commission that will show up on every single budget template, but we're not going to do those right now. Instead, we have our budget template. We're going to update our settings. That'll update the budget template. And then we're going to go back to Richard Gallivant. So now that we're in Richard, we can go to our financials and we see that we have a budget here. We can add in a new budget, or something really neat is we can convert an estimate to a budget. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to add in a new budget. Right here, we can enter a price that we're selling the job at manually. We can enter whatever price we want, or we can use an existing estimate. Now, as you see, we can click on that and it pulls up all of the estimates for that contact. Since this is the only since this is the only estimate on this contact, we'll use that as our budget. As you see, it has already populated everything in the budget, and it has given us our margin right here, which is 32.87%. That's pretty good. What we'll want to do is we want to add in a commission. So let's add in a commission for this budget. We're going to add in job well done. We can add in a specific amount or a percentage. So let's add in a 3.5% of not price, but let's go gross profit, 3.5% off the top. Now we can choose who this commission is going to. We're going to select sales rep. If we want to select a specific user, we can go click on this drop down and select a specific user, but we're just going to give this to the sales rep. So let's save the commission and save the budget. This is going to give you an overview of your budget and how much you're going to be making on the job. If we after the whole job is done, we can even mark the commission as paid. If we've paid the commission to Daniel, we can come over here in the budget and say mark paid. Now that commission has been paid to Daniel. And that really, that right there is is a good overview of budgets, but we have one other financial document, and that is material orders.
Something else you might find that you need to do is to send an order to your supplier saying, hey, this is what I need. And JobNimbus has a simple way to let you do that. If you jump into your templates, into your features, you'll see that there's an option here to enable material orders. So let's go ahead and do that. And then you'll find the material order template here inside your templates. Looks good. We're not going to build a new one right now. And then let's hop into JobNimbus proper. Like every time we enable something, it is good practice to refresh the page. Once we've done that, let's go find Richard. All right, if we pop over to our financial section, you'll see material orders have now appeared. We can add a material order like we've seen before, or we can pull it from the estimate. I usually find this to be a good practice because then I don't have to add the same things over and over again. Here, I don't need the section. If I had any labor items, I would pull that out. I can choose a design template or a save material order here. And then I can give it the date I want it delivered, like next Thursday. If there's anything I want to change in the instructions, in the internal note, I can do that. Then I can save the material order. Now, the neat thing about using material orders in JobNimbus is if you have contacts listed as suppliers, we can go in to email the material order, and it's automatically going to pull up a list of all of my suppliers. We only have one, Kevin Tran, so we'll mark him. If there's anyone that's not in our database that we want to add, we can put in their email addresses and additional recipients, and we can choose an email template to send to them. In this case, we'll just leave it on the default, and then we can send the mail. This way you can take all of the information that you already added once, throw it in a material order, send it out to Kevin, and boom, you'll get your material orders on the 19th, assuming nothing goes wrong. It's 2020, so 50-50. And that's about the end of our information on financials. So the goal of our templates is just to give you a way to keep track of everything in JobNimbus. You don't have to enter the same things over and over again. And the goal is to, help you run your business instead of let your business run you.
So if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to our wonderful support team. And you can also view our previous webinars by visiting our YouTube page. And you can also take a look at our great help articles and videos at support.jobnimbus.com. And if you joined us today and you're not a JobNimbus user and you're watching this, feel free to sign up using that link for a free demo. And I do want to thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great day.